Hi, friends of Boston Coalition for Autism, Mauricio Perea, and I want to talk about this building. Let me show you. We're at the Framingham. This is considered the common. This is the village hall that we're going to talk about a little bit about it, but also what's going to happen in it. So you see, this was at some point in the 1980s. Well, actually, the 1880s, the beginning of the 19th century, because this building, what we see right now, was built in 1934. And it has a particular architecture, but the usage for that, the usage was the original goal was to be a town government office where they hold the town meeting halls and yes, all those meetings, and they have two classrooms. It was the first space, not the official, but a space of the public library. And at the basement, which is the entrances in the back, it was used for a fire engine storage. The first library is right there. So obviously, that's the second building built for that purpose. The original purpose of that building was to be a library, and then that was the temporary. That building was built in 1863. I remember. Well, so we are in this very historical area. Just to announce, the Boston Coalition for Autism is going to host a conference here on this hall. This hall is a really nice place to provide a conference because it has two floors. It has a very big hall on the top and a conference area at the bottom too. So we'll see what we're gonna use. Depends on um, what the people who runs this gonna tell us. So, but this was for a long time the political center of the community in Framingham. Instead of this is the second one because the first one was what is now around Route 135 and that area. But we'll talk about that later. So I love this area because it has too many historical buildings. There's a Stanford Museum. Next to that is the Academy, what is called, was one of the first high schools in the area. But we're gonna devote a full video for this. But this building has gone through many renovations, obviously because it's an old building and different functions. The last one was about to have an elevator, but to make it a wheelchair accessible. So that's the last renovation, and it was Karen Dempsey who promoted that. So the hall on top is called the Karen Dempsey Hall, and when they did the inauguration of that hall, the governor of Massachusetts came before the Laura Healy, the current governor. But some of those renovations are based on a very renamed people, like Charles Monroe Baker, who redesigned the portico, and the Framingham Improvement Association. They are responsible. They took the responsibility to keep it in a good shape. So as much as we know, you see the floor and all these garden areas, they are in very good shape. You see that beautiful heart and all that. So the History Center now is in charge of that, Framingham History Center. And so for us to rent the space for Boston Coalition for Autism for a conference, we have to go through the Framingham History Center. They are very, very nice for this, and they give us the space for almost free. So it's something called in-kind exchange. But the conference is going to be about neurodiversity, the new culture. And this, I'm going to give you a brief conceptualization of what we're going to do there. Is we're going to define what a neurodiversity is, what are the types of neurodiversities, and how that involves us as a Boston Coalition for Autism, because autism is a neurodiversity. As you know, autism is not a illness, sickness, disability, or any other labels that people who is not familiar with the terminology uses. So, and that's what our goal is: educate people to understand neurodiversity, but also those very important topics that we always manage, or we're trying to make people to be aware of it, which is late diagnosis in autism, diagnosis in females. And if the time permits that day, we're going to also talk about autism in immigration and autism and addiction. But those are topics that are going to be reserved for more different facilities. This is planning to be an civic education forum, and we'll see. You're going to see the results on our webpage, Boston Coalition for Autism.org. If you're going to find out more about this, then go to either Facebook page or our website page. Remember, Boston Coalition for Autism, one word, .org. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.